Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 29th Annual Friends of St. Nick Luncheon. So over the years, the incredible, generous spirit of this community has been overwhelming to us all. It's an incredibly tough time of year in normal circumstances around Christmas time to ask people to donate money, and the spirit and community of Norwood once again every year, year in, year out, steps up to the plate. We're approaching now, over 28 years, we're approaching $600,000 that has been donated to Dana-Farber, and $175,000 is only in the past 5 years alone. Last year's check we were able to give from your own generosity, a check for $40,000. So that's an incredible accomplishment, and everybody should be proud of that. We thank you for that. A little different this year. We decided to not have a particular honoree. We decided that instead of an honoree, we're going to make it a celebration of the community of Norwood, the spirit of Norwood, the giving of the Norwood people. Here to speak about where the money is going and the incredible amount of work they are doing from Dana-Farber Cancer Institute, please welcome Sarah Eldridge.
Hello, my name is Sarah Eldridge, Officer of Event Fundraising at the Jimmy Fund. I had the pleasure of meeting many of you in person at last year's 28th Annual Friends of St. Nick event, and I was blown away by the amazing community that the town of Norwood is. This year has brought many challenges for individuals and families all over the country and the world. It has been a year like no other, and unfortunately, while we are working to get through the challenges that COVID-19 presents, cancer does not stop, and the patients and families at Dana-Farber Cancer Institute need us now more than ever. Despite the challenges that this year has brought, the town of Norwood continues to amaze me. Last year I had the opportunity to share a meal with honorees Dave and Sheila Monahan, owners of the Mug and Muffin. It was amazing to hear the town of Norwood share the impact that they had had on so many lives. This year, I join you in saluting the heroes of the town of Norwood. In just 29 years, you have come together to raise over $500,000 for the Jimmy Fund. Your impact is incredible, and it is tough to find the words to simply say thank you. So to everyone at home this holiday season, stay safe, stay well, and thank you from the bottom of our heart.
Thank you, Sarah, for that. Thank you, Dana-Farber. Please stay tuned to the end of the program. We will be doing the Kibbe Good Guy Award, and as well as pulling the raffle prizes. And sorry, I gotta take this. Excuse me. Hello?
Billy?
Yeah.
Yeah, Billy. No, not the 4 points. Everything's virtual this year. We're having a virtual event right now. I wouldn't mind if you got up here. There's no one here.
At the studio?
Yes, leave now.
Now?
Get up here. Get up here soon.
Oh boy. Yeah, hey, I'm on my way.
Hi, welcome everyone. My name is Catherine Staffier. I am a board member on the Friends of St. Nick. Today we have Tony Mizuko and Sigal Reese. We're going to interview them. We're honoring people from the town in general about the pandemic that happened this year. So COVID impacted the town of Norwood very early on. How did the town departments handle this when it all began?
Sure. I think we did a great job right from the beginning. And as you know, COVID did hit us early on with a number of town officials having to be quarantined early off the bat. One of the wise decisions I think we made right out of the gate was we knew public health had to take the lead in determining what decisions we made as we responded. So we had Sigal and her team and sort of said, guess what, guys, you're going to be in charge of telling us what's a smart idea and what's not such a smart idea. And turns out that was probably the best decision we made right from the beginning.
And yeah, right from the beginning, what was so difficult at that point was that we knew so little. And when we think about where we were in March to where we are now, you know, policies have changed, everything's so different, and nobody knew any of the policies or knew what to do back then. So it was really, you're thrown into the deep end, you're trying to figure it out. It was a lot of pressure and a lot of confusion.
So secondly, there has been so much information for the health department to handle, like we were just saying. What have been some major changes to you and your staff?
Well, when I think about messaging and how much information we constantly have to be putting out for the public, one thing I talk about is the full spectrum of the views out there, and how there are very many different views, and that there's a lot of misleading information out there. So one of the challenges, and one thing that we are constantly trying to do, is get out the facts. What are the facts, and what can you do to protect yourself and your family?
So you've had some new additions to the staff because of the immense amount of work due to the pandemic. So can you tell us a little bit about that? Maybe Sigal, I'll start with you.
Yeah, so just to your early question, back when we started, we actually didn't have a public health nurse. Our nurse had retired a month before the pandemic.
Oh, wow.
So we started out the pandemic with no public health nurse, but Stacey Lane, our assistant director, was just amazing. She's a former nurse, but a former public health nurse. She's still an RN. And then we were able to fill that position. And then, you know, with the support of the general manager's office, we were able to get a second public health nurse, which has really helped in the response. And I mean, they are all day contact tracing every day.
So Tony, the town did all it could to help the residents that had struggled because of the pandemic. So could you highlight some of those programs?
Sure, there were quite a few things that we did, and I'm particularly proud of all the volunteers in town and all the staff in town who made them happen. Most towns did one or two things here or there. We seem to do them all. One of the things we did is we set up a citizen information center, so we had one number of people who could call. We've sometimes gotten a couple hundred calls in a week about unemployment, about food security, about questions about the virus, questions about regulations. So we set that up as a central point to help get that information out and make sure there was a consistent message. We also worked on food security, and through the help of some town staff, a lot of volunteers, and some staff at the schools, we set up the Mustang Food Pantry. And for about 8 to 10 weeks, we ran our own food pantry. Sort of came out of nowhere. We ran it through donations and grant funding and volunteer work, and we set up a large, aggressive food pantry serving sometimes between 150 and 200 families every other week. We also came up with a weekly family meals program where we used in-house cafeteria staff at the Norwood Public Schools. And I just want to give a shout out to all of our cafeteria workers who have worked every single day of the pandemic. They have not had a day off. They've not been able to go from home, and they've not been able to work from home. So a shout out to them. The Community Development Department secured around $250,000 in grants for small businesses and for residents facing housing security issues or housing or rent payments. Those programs are ongoing now, but before that, we were able to identify about $80,000 of municipal funds and came up with our own small business grant program providing up to $4,000 to a number of businesses dramatically impacted by the pandemic. And we ran that program entirely internally in May and June of this year, and we're able to get a lot of support out to businesses that were really struggling.
And just when we thought 2020 couldn't get any worse, then there was the flood, right? So can you walk us through that and how the town responded to the flood?
We got 5.5 inches of rain in an hour and a half, and there's no stormwater system in the world that could handle that. And of course, by an hour, 2 hours in, we realized that the hospital was going to be the biggest challenge. We at that time thought the power was just out and they'd be able to dry out. We had to evacuate the hospital. Group 2, Norwood Fire, was on the scene that day. Both deputy fire chiefs and the fire chief responded as well. They had to evacuate the hospital, which in the best of times, a hospital evacuation is a frightening and complicated thing to do. In the midst of torrential rains, flooded streets, and having no power, it was an incredible challenge that Norwood Police and Norwood Fire rose to the occasion on that.
So Sigal, as you elaborated a little bit before on this, we seem to get new information every day in regards to the pandemic. I know you talked about it a little bit, but how are you and your department handling this and getting it out to the public?
Well, it's definitely a challenge because the information is constantly changing. And of course, we want to create a level of trust and we want to be a resource in the community to go through. So we want to make sure we're having accurate information out there. And part of the struggle is some of the policy changes are out of our control. They're decided at the state level and then implemented locally. But unfortunately, we just don't get advanced warning or input on those policies. But it's definitely constant.
So is there anything else we missed or you'd like the public to know as we're wrapping up?
Just that it takes a village, and the community response has been incredible too. I mean, when we were first struggling to get masks, we went to Luster Cleaners and they made some of the first masks the town was able to get their hands on, and we were counting them every day as we got them in because we wanted to distribute masks to the Housing Authority and to seniors who participated in the Senior Center program, and they just started doing it before we had to work out any kind of an arrangement with them. We had a group of mask makers in Norwood who ended up making thousands of masks. These were just residents sort of on their own. We actually took their the designs that they had and brought them over to Luster Cleaners and said, hey, can you figure this out for us? We're in such desperate need of masks. You couldn't find them and you couldn't get them anywhere.
Yeah, I would just add that in extending that with the other town departments and the cooperation and partnership between the schools and the health department and the manager's office and all the town departments, it's been nice to be supported and listened to. Talk to some of my colleagues. It's not like that in every community. And like Tony said, the support of our boards has been phenomenal. And really the community. It does take a village, and everybody's been supporting us and appreciative of our work, which is also helps a lot.
Again, thanks so much for what you guys do, and it's an honor to have you guys here tonight. So,
thank you.
Yeah,
thank you.
Welcome back. There's still no one here. I wasn't planning on being alone. Okay, all right. Improv. Bowie. Give me a kitchen utensil, an action, and your favorite child actor who now has a drug problem, and we'll do like a musical or something. That's improv. Just give me a second. Hey, Mike, it's Mouse.
Mouse, what's going on?
Could really use you right now. Billy's not here yet either. So if you could go find him, that would be great. He's somewhere around town. He might be lost. And remember, please don't take a car because we could actually think of no idea to fill time this year. So we're going to run around town again, and it's going to make no sense, but we're going to have fun. And just let me know when you find him, okay?
All right, I'll run up there now. I don't have a car. I'll run.
All right, thanks, pal. All right, bye-bye.
Hey, Kerry, how are you?
I'm well, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing great, thank you.
Good.
Thank you so much. We're here with Kerry McCarthy, the director of the Norwood Senior Center, and all the great work that you folks do here. I know it's been a challenging year for all of us. Maybe tell us a little bit about how things have been here at the Senior Center throughout the year.
Sure. So things have been a little crazy since March, for sure. We had to close the center when everybody else shut down, obviously. We closed the doors, but we didn't shut down our services by any means. Sure. We continued with grab-and-go lunches. We continued all our outreach. We continued the bus service, everything under the guidance of the health department, for sure. Sure. But our biggest concern was social isolation.
Sure.
We didn't know how long it was going to last, but we knew that we really had to make sure that we reached the folks that are socially isolated because it's just detrimental to their health.
Sure.
We delivered lunches. We helped with Meals on Wheels. We helped with the food pantry. We became basically the social service center of the whole town because we don't have a social worker in town. So sure. We help folks fill out unemployment applications, food stamps applications. So We shopped for numerous people for months at a time.
Wow.
So we kept busy. We never once worked from home. We stayed here and helped anyone that needed it.
Yeah, and that's truly amazing work. I know this year has probably been most difficult on our seniors and a lot of the
For
adjustments
sure.
they've had to make and some of the isolation you mentioned. So that's amazing work you guys have done. I know the whole town really appreciates it. So has there been any other things? I know things like outdoor seating and other things.
Yeah,
that come
for
up
sure.
throughout the town.
The timing was perfect for our new parking lot. So as soon as that was done in August, we were able to make a little parking lot park
Sure.
with some tables. We were able to do some great outdoor entertainers. We had the Whoopie Pie Wagon, we had DJ Dogs, we had the Cookie Monster truck. So we
Wow.
were able to do our socialization outside for while the weather was good. And we did our exercise classes outside. We also have brought our exercise classes back in to the center, but
Great.
we really utilized that, that outdoor park a lot.
That's awesome. Yeah, geez, sounds like a good time. I don't know if you check IDs coming in. I'd love to sneak in there too.
This is the place to be.
Yeah, I know. That sounds like the place to be. It's all like, oh, no, that's awesome. Well, Carrie, on behalf of the Friends of St. Nick, the whole town of Norwood, all the work that you and your team do here is amazing. I know our seniors greatly appreciate it, and we just want to honor you as throughout the year you've obviously stepped up and adapted in so many ways. So on behalf of the whole town and the board, we appreciate everything you guys do and look forward to hopefully more of a normal 2021 and everything
sure.
you guys do at the Senior Center. So we appreciate it.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you, Carrie.
Thanks.
Where is the new light department? No one told me to change addresses. Here it is. Jimmy,
Hi,
good to see you.
how you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm running around town. Hey, listen, it's been a tough year for all of us, tough year for you guys. Thank you for everything you're doing. For lack of a better term, you've kept everyone lit this year and keeping everything going in a challenging year with the storms, with COVID. How you guys been dealing with 2020?
We've been doing things in a lot different way, that's for sure. We've rotated some of the customer service reps. Some of them work from home now, and with the line guys, we've gone to one guy per truck, try to keep them separated, certainly when they're up in the air. So we have one person per truck, and we try to have them keep their distance, keep the mask. In the offices here, we're very fortunate that we moved into the office just before the virus hit. And as you can see, we have a lot of room in the offices here that we're able to spread out.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I went up to the old place first, and because I haven't been around in a while. So it took me a little longer to run down here, because I stopped at the Heaven too. But you mentioned that with the guys that have been outside and dealing with that. One guy, one truck, but they've been holding up all right. It's something that's been working.
Yeah, the guys have been responding. We've been able to get the work done. We do have a couple new tools. We have a couple young engineers now. One of the things, we have an outage management system, which actually helps us pinpoint where the outages are and the best way to restore them. So it actually allows us to find out sooner where the problem is, and it also allows us better ways to restore the power a little bit quicker.
And the work that you guys are doing to allow people to work from home, daycare from home, stay at home, and everything that's required, right?
It's been going really well.
Oh.
It could have been a lot worse, that's for sure.
Well, I think you're being modest too for the work that you guys are doing. It's been incredible for the town to keep things rolling the way they need to do. So, thank you for everything that you're doing for the town.
Thank you. It's all the people that work here that deserve the credit. Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
I could use a drink. Hi, Charlotte. Hi. Hey, everybody. This is Charlotte Kennelly, Director of Norwood Library. And Charlotte, we were just wondering, going around town, wondering how you have overcome the obstacles of COVID and anything you've done with new services. Okay. And hopefully things are going good.
They are going good right now. We're just hoping for the best. We're hoping that this can all be done with by the spring. When we closed down in March, it was really hard on all of the staff. We were all working from home, but we worked really quickly to put into place some great services where people could interact with us from home or from wherever they were. We have a chat with us box on the website so that they could call and say they were having, or they could chat and say, I don't have my personal identification number, can you help me? And we had people manning those. And then what we did is we ramped up all of our digital resources, and we added some resources so that people could be reading books and watching videos and listening to audiobooks that they didn't have to take out in person, but that they could check out electronically.
Oh, that's great.
And yeah, we put a lot of money into that. And then we were so happy when we opened again at the end of May for curbside delivery. And we've been doing that ever since. But we did in August be able to add browsing in library browsing for people. One of the great things the children's department did this summer was they had a pop-up library at all the schools. We just had to stop that for now because of the weather.
Sure.
But we will probably try to incorporate that in the future into our programming. So the various things that we've added, we hope to continue with, because that might be the new norm for people. Sure. Who, there are people who love to come to the library, and there are people who love the services from home.
Oh, that's great, Charlotte. Thank you so much for your time today.
Okay, great.
Kate, have you seen Billy?
Mousy, what are you doing? Aren't you supposed to be on TV right now?
Oh, jeez.
Oh, I'm just at the office with my dad. We're looking at some old St. Nick stuff, kind of reminiscing.
Mahoney.
Oh, all right, bye.
Sheesh. Well, I think you want to know how this thing all started. We can thank the Friends of St. Patrick in Walpole for really giving us the impetus to get this thing going. After one of the events, I always get a table, and a bunch of guys and girls from Norwood would come with us. Jake Murphy, who was the founder of Friends of St. Patrick, came up to me and he said, why don't you bums from Norwood do something? So Kibby was around, Davey Thornton, Helen and whatnot were just hanging there. So somebody said or whatnot, how about the Friends of St. Nick? Said, yeah, it sounds good. And Kibby immediately said, I'll get the hall. So he was off to Concannon's to secure that venue for us. And we basically just hit the ground running, not having any clue what we were doing. The first year that was the Three Dogs, Leiden, Donovan, and O'Day, it went pretty well. We raised maybe $4,000. And again, we didn't know what we were doing. There was no model, there was no game plan. It's like having your first child. Where's the book? You don't know what to do, but you get it done. And then we had the second child, and now it's the 29th child.
So yeah, the 29th, and so the opportunity for us this year was to really recognize how difficult 2020 has been for everybody, but how easy the people of the town of Norwood has made it, for everyone here. So we thought, they're right up in the books, all the people in the town, with people like the Circle of Hope, with the Challenger League, even individuals like John Carroll or Bobby Griffin. The town of Norwood is what made the Friends of St. Nick so successful over the years. And for us to be able to have a one-day event and make over $500,000 now through just raffle and auction and donation, it's been so special for us. And certainly, you guys, the old Jabrokes are all gone now, but really I think that we have second generation board members, myself, Patrick,
and we're proud of that too.
Mikey Curran. Even some of the original elves are Mrs. Sweeney, so we got Jimmy, Catherine, and Michelle. So
we're getting some from Maple Grove Manor to
yeah, they'll be here next. Like but I think the Friends of St. Nick and the mission that we had at heart, and certainly like the ability for us to do this is been so easy because of the people of Norwood. And this year we're so honored to be able to honor them, and I think we're looking forward to making another successful donation. And well, as Dave Thornton always says, the idea is at the end of the day that we have fun and we raise a lot of money doing it. So I think that's our plan again this year.
Hi, I'm Pat Dempsey. I'm on the board of Friends of St. Nick, and I'm joined here by Superintendent Thompson and Katie Lang, the Oldham School. And as one of our honorees of the school system, just in general, the amazing job they've done so far this year to keep things going, to be able to get the kids, while keeping them safe, get them an education at the same time. And we just wanted to show our appreciation and thanks for the probably overwhelming task that it's been for everyone involved. And obviously it's something where you can't please everyone, but you have to make the tough decisions to keep the kids safe, keep the teachers safe, but also deliver an education to them, which is so critically important. And I think we just start off with what, and either one of you can start, what has been the hardest part for you throughout this process?
Well, it's been a long process. I constantly joke that the last 6 or 8 months seems like 6 or 8 years, but we closed down in March and had to reimagine delivering education in moments. We originally closed thinking we'd be closed for maybe a week or two. We handed out work to keep kids engaged and kind of refresh and practice what they had learned, and all of a sudden had to try to move to a platform where we were trying to push education forward. And that's not something we've done in education holistically remotely. The biggest compliment I can give to our teachers, our staff, our administration is that they never stood still, and they constantly and continue to try to develop and learn and improve as we go along. So I constantly say I'm in awe of the staff here, their dedication, their willingness to learn, their willingness to try new things and grow and develop.
Yeah, and I think one of the hardest parts as a teacher is building those relationships with kids. We don't have them in the classroom all the time, so making sure that they're emotionally stable before we can even cover the academics is one of the biggest struggles that we're having. Especially home lives are not always the easiest, so we have to battle that sometimes. And just not being able to create those relationships and classroom experiences that we normally can.
And from this, do you think there's been changes that you say, this is great, we can use this going forward? This has been a really positive change that we wouldn't have maybe implemented, or maybe not as implemented as quickly because of everything that's going on?
I think definitely the technology piece, the kids are getting so great at the technology, so that's something that we may have worked towards in the years to come, but this was kind of thrown in our faces, and it was a great thing to have, and the kids are really doing well with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it definitely accelerated that piece. And you can never fully replace in-person learning and building those relationships in person like you can with a screen. But we definitely have learned and looked at new ways to evaluate, new ways to assign work, more project-based pieces as we look at it. And there's definitely some things we're going to be taking away from this and bringing forward to enhance our overall practice.
Now, here's a real hard-hitting question. Because schools can now go online and might not have to be in person, are there going to be snow days anymore?
Yeah, that actually was a conversation. We've been given permission from the Department of Elementary and Secondary Ed to pivot to remote learning instead of taking a snow day, as long as there is still power and internet. And with the world's greatest local power and cable company, I'm greatly looking forward to not having to cancel school and be in school past our date. There might be one in there where we actually have to shut down because we don't have internet for kids. But I anticipate that we'll be able to pivot to remote for a day instead of having a snow day. So chances are they'll still be learning, and everybody has got their fuzzy slippers next to their desk at home, and we'll just do that instead. Maybe we'll have to plan an extra long recess so they can get out and get wet in the snow or shovel. But
got to make sure the sledding skills stay on point there.
Right.
And I guess when things do return to normal, who do you think is going to be more excited, the teachers or the students, to be back in person?
Ooh, that's a trick question.
Is it?
I think the teachers are probably more excited than the kids. I think the kids have really realized that they do love school, even though they always say, I don't want to go to school, I don't want to go to school. Yep. I think they've really realized that it's a safe place for them and they love to come there. So they'll be very excited, but I think the teachers need it to be normal again for them too. So it's a toss-up.
Yeah. The one thing that I think characterizes the Norwood Public Schools is how much the teachers really care for their kids, and the kids in turn care for the teachers. And that was one of the most difficult pieces, I know, talking to teachers after the April break that we didn't actually take, and how distraught they were and how much they were missing their kids. And the kids were really missing the teachers. It is a relationship, and it's something that teachers feed off of. That's the energy, that's the reward, is seeing those faces and those light bulbs turn on. So I think it'll be equal.
What do you think it is about the town of Norwood, how all different facilities, from the public works to the school systems to the power, to Norwood Electric, what is it that makes it work all so well? It's not just one person. That's what we had trouble with this year, is who do you honor? And,
right.
And for the school system in particular, has there been one department that's really said they've gone above and beyond, this person or these people have done something just spectacular for us?
Well, I think one thing that makes Norwood different, and I tell people, it's one of the last great communities out there. People in this town really care about the quality of their town, the quality of their services, and taking care of one another. So that's a basis for success. Other towns, unfortunately, do not have that. And we could shout out to a lot of different people, but inside of the district, I would say the technology department has done 5 times the work they normally do and delivered on point continuously, and they definitely deserve a shout out. We went from, having enough. We added, I want to say, 2,000 more devices over the summer, getting them all set up out there. New technologies used in the classroom, training the teachers how to use all of these new tools in short order, and just an amazing group of people, and led by Joe Kidd, who is equally amazing, and just have done yeoman's work.
Again, on behalf of Friends of St. Nick, I'd like to thank Superintendent Thompson and Katie Lang for coming today and speaking a little bit about what the school system has been working on and how hard they've worked to keep everything going. And we really appreciate what they've done, and that's why they're one of the many honorees of the town of Norwood this year, the terrific job that they've done.
Jose, Mike, have you seen him? No. Me neither. Maybe you just go have a beer? Alright, I'm exhausted, but where'd you check?
Senior Center. You?
Did the light department. So maybe I'll do DPW.
Okay. I'll at the police station.
Okay.
Hey, Billy.
Hey, guys. Hey, Billy.
He's had a tough year, huh?
What the hell's he dressed up for?
I'll find out. Cheers.
Oh, here we go. They'll know me in here. Oh, Billy's a frequent flyer here. Hopefully that drinking in the woods is cleared by now.
Chiefs, great to see you. I appreciate the time today. I appreciate some time talking through the year. So, been a pretty quiet year for everybody, I think, around here. So, figured you guys might be able to share a little bit on both your respective departments and how it's been from your end.
All right, well, I guess I'll start, Chief, then. It's just, so COVID hit, I know it was around February, but it really hit hard in March. So we made a lot of drastic changes. I think Norwood Fire did as well. So we changed the way we did things. We're a department that always look for opportunities to engage the public and talk to people and interact with people and that sort of thing. And we stopped that, and we completely pulled that. We, for the most part, I probably shouldn't advertise this, we almost stopped doing traffic enforcement. We went from kind of tucking off to the roadside and pulling over speeders to parking perpendicular and being more of a deterrent. So we really just changed our operations completely. Eventually those people who we had sent home came back. The patrol officers, of course, had to stay on the street. Now we're all back, even though we're going through another surge. I know Fire went through different protocols because they have a different mission and they're set up differently, but the things going on over there.
We did, Chief, thank you. Yeah, much different perspective from the fire department. As the chief mentioned, changes in our the way we operate the department. One of the first things we did is we actually broke the department up. We kept a few individuals and pieces of apparatus at the main station, but we also broke up others into satellite stations, one at the recreation department and one at the old linesman's quarters up on Central Street. The main reasoning for doing that was that if for some reason we had individuals become COVID positive, the whole crew would not be infected. We would hopefully only have a few individuals that would come down with it and have to quarantine. Fortunately, we had a number of local businesses here in the town of Norwood who started to make items like PPE and hand sanitizer, which we were able to take at the fire department, keep our individuals safe, but also give that PPE to some of the local nursing homes and the hospital. I think we actually provided the hospital with their face masks in the emergency room. So difficult times, just the men and women, what they went through, knowing that they were going out to these COVID calls. They did a fantastic job in keeping themselves a pillar of the community and providing those emergency medical services.
I think even beyond COVID, you mentioned a lot of stuff there. I think our own Mike Maloof might be happy about the speeding ticket thing. He's got a couple pending, so that probably helps him out. But there's other things beyond COVID this year you guys have had to adapt to. So I know Norwood Hospital had a lot of things going on this year. Maybe Chief Maurice, you can speak to that a little bit.
I can. Actually, a situation that I never dreamed of in my career of time here at Norwood Fire Department. It was such a once-in-a-career type of event, and to have that rainstorm and flooding basically affect the whole town. I know it wasn't just the hospital, but we were running all over town for flooded out streets, issues with multiple buildings, alarms. I think we had actually a small shed fire before the hospital started. But once we arrived at the hospital and assessed the situation, the on-duty crews who were unbelievable realized that we had a major event on our hands, and it was going to take a lot of manpower to assist us in evacuating the hospital. I know, Chief, you gave us great assistance with that.
We did, and it was really quite you talked about a team effort. It really was a team effort, although it was led by Norwood Fire. It really was, and the police acted in support. They brought apparatus and crews from the surrounding towns because the patients had to be evacuated from the hospital. And some of that was to do traffic, and some of it was to help firefighters actually carry the patients down from the third and second floors because we couldn't use the elevators and because a lot of the lighting was out. And I think that night, largely led by the fire service, I think about 100 patients were removed from the hospital, put in ambulances, and then delivered to other hospitals.
Really, as the Chief mentioned, all around it was a great team effort. I think it's maybe the largest scale evacuation of a hospital in Massachusetts. And the best part about it is that no one got hurt.
Yeah.
Everyone was delivered safely to another facility, appropriate facility, and none of the firefighters, police officers were injured in the process. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, that's a huge testament to not only your teams, but the surrounding areas, as you mentioned. And, as we've learned in 2020, there's nothing that's unexpected when it comes up, and it seems like each day, each week, there's something new. So testament to both of your teams. So, and I know Chief Brooks, for yourself and your force, it's been, there's a lot of other things going on this year as well with current events and social justice. I don't know if you want to touch on that a little bit.
The killing of George Floyd by a Minneapolis police officer really set the country on fire. Yeah. And there were protests not only all over the United States, but quite frankly, overseas and around the world. Mm-hmm. And just as it seemed that things might be going to simmer down a little bit, then there was another one, and then there was another one. The police, there's been a study that says that the police have over 70 million contacts with the public in any given year, and there are 800,000 police, but invariably, some are going to not go well. And the one in Minneapolis, of course, was egregious and it was awful, and hopefully things will improve. But we really just, Chief Maurice and I, we talk about this all the time. It's great to be here in Norwood. Not only do we have a strong relationship between the two departments, but we get such support from the public that they've really been great to us. Going through COVID and then going through all of the national disruption and stuff that I talked about before, people called in, they'd either drop off a meal or they'd send coffee in or that sort of thing. And sure. Somebody put behind you in line at Dunkin' Donuts and say, I'll get his coffee. And the officers were experiencing some of that. So we just really appreciate that. We really appreciate Norwood. Really appreciate the way that we're treated and the interaction between both our departments and the folks who live here and work here. And it's really just a really pleasure to serve here.
Always proud to serve the people in Norwood.
And I think the reason why we're here today is how appreciative the town of Norwood is of you guys as well. So on behalf of Friends of St. Nick, on behalf of the whole town, we're happy to recognize both the fire department, police department, as well as the whole town for all that you guys have done, both seen and unseen, throughout this tumultuous year. So we appreciate Chief Brooks, Chief Maurice, and
Billy! I'll go see Mark Bryan. He's tall. Maybe he's seen Billy. Mark! Mark, hi. Yeah, don't get up. We're
Are you okay?
Yeah, don't get up. We're at eye level right now.
Jeez.
Yeah, been running around. Hey, listen, 2020's been a heck of a year for everyone. And a lot of people are being asked to stay home now, a lot. And what you guys do, gotta have clean water, gotta have all the utilities working. And the storms this year, how you guys been dealing with this year? You guys been doing such an incredible job.
Yeah, you're right, Jeff. I mean, part of our motto is public works, part of your life every day. We are, like you said, the water, and then you get the trash, and then you get the sewer, and you get the road jobs, and then the storms we've had. It's been a crazy year. 2020 is one for the record books for a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
The guys and girls, the department, doing fabulous. They really are. I couldn't be more proud of the crews we have here and how they stepped up to the plate for everything that's been thrown at them.
What were the biggest challenges? Is it some of the, the protocols you got to put in place and adjusting to some of the old ways that you'd done things, making them into new ways? What were the biggest challenges, besides the obvious, I guess, that you've faced?
Yeah, I mean, COVID threw a big curveball at us, and we adjusted to keep doing the work we need to get done, but keeping the crew safe. All right, that's the bottom line, keeping them safe. That's the most important thing. And then, it's worked out very well. The crews have embraced, some of the protocols we've put in place. They understand the importance of being safe and also the importance of getting the job done. Yeah.
Well, I know, all the Norwood residents and everyone that you provide services for have appreciated everything you guys have done this year. And so is there a rosier outlook? Are you looking forward to the year ahead?
We are. 2021 couldn't get here quick enough. But, you talk about the residents. They've been fabulous. They've been understanding. They're in the same boat as us. Each day is different. And, we're grateful to do the job for them. And we are looking forward to a better year come 2021. We all got to hope that, and we all know it's coming.
Yeah. Well, excellent. And thanks again, and thanks for everything you're doing.
Jeff, thank you for whatever you do at Friends of St. Nick.
I could use a drink. Let's see if Travis is in. Oh, good water. Oh, no.
Hey everybody, we're at Norwood Rec Department. This is Travis Farley, the director. Travis, we're going around town talking to people about how you've overcome any obstacles with COVID-19, any special programs, any good stories you can tell.
Oh yeah, lots of good stories. 2020 has been a memorable one, that's for sure. So when this kind of all went down in the spring, we had just put out our spring summer guide in February. So we basically had to throw all of our spring summer guides, basically from February to August, with programming just out and start fresh. So we had to wait for a lot of CDC guidance, the town board of health, what we could or could not do. By May, we kind of had a game plan that we were going to open Haas Pool, and we were going to do an abbreviated summer camp, and we were going to do Challenger program and a few sports camps. Obviously, there was a ton more guidance. We couldn't have as many kids. Social distancing, the normal CDC guidance, the normal camp guidance that we had. The pools had a 40% capacity cap. We had to have social distance monitors at pools. People had to sign up for pool time. So it was a big adjustment for our department. We actually had to add staff, but we had less people that were involved for obvious reasons. But I think the people that were involved in our programming and were involved in the pools were very appreciative of the opportunity to be able to use these things, because a lot of towns around us didn't even have pools open or programs running. So we were very proud and very happy for our summer staff that did a tremendous job this summer, giving the residents that opportunity to get out, get involved with programming and pools.
That's great. Any special projects that you have going on?
Oh, it's a great question. We actually wrapped up a few projects this year. We were at Bond Street Playground, which is our most most heavily used tot lot. We were able to put a 4,000 square foot poured rubber surface on that playground. This surface allows it to be far more ADA accessible and a lot more safer for residents. I drive by daily and I see it. It's getting a ton of use, which is great to see. That was a CPC project. We also had the Balch scoreboard, the baseball scoreboard, which was a huge donation from Galili's Funeral Home in Norwood Bank. They really stepped up, and we were very fortunate to work that out with them. So we actually have a brand new scoreboard at Elliott Field at Balch, behind the Balch Elementary School.
Travis, thank you very much for your time and sharing your stories.
No, thank you very much, and happy holidays to everyone.
Woo, woo. I need to take a load off. Yeah. Woo. Take a break. I don't know where the hell Billy is. Hey, Jim.
Buddy, what's up, buddy?
Billy?
Billy? Billy who?
Billy Go.
Billy Girl, forget Billy Girl. Let's go get an OVC.
Oh, yeah.
Hello, I'm Michelle Sweeney, and I'm a member of the board of the Friends of St. Nick. We are here tonight with Dr. Sal Perla, president of Norwood Hospital. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
COVID seemed to hit Norwood pretty early. How did the hospital handle this?
So Norwood Hospital was impacted relatively early in comparison to others due to our ties with the Biogen conference, and then of course the town hall. So we started seeing COVID patients earlier than others, and we had to very quickly adapt almost independently just due to the geography. And we very quickly utilized those skills that we've been training for years and decades that we never really thought we would have to use. It was always emergency planning, but got our tent up, did the emergency training with our staff, refreshers, and then of course had to gather all that necessary PPE to safely take care of our patients and keep all of our staff safe.
During the beginning of the pandemic, the hospital was able to offer a lot to the residents of Norwood. What were some of those offerings?
So for us, I think what was probably most important is, obviously we had our emergency department. And then within, I want to say, a week of us realizing COVID's real and it's hitting us very quickly, we put up the tent. And that was a tent that was utilized to screen patients. And we were able to screen patients very quickly and safely. And we went from 0 to 100 patients a day overnight. So I'd say that was probably the most important thing that we could quickly do to help the community.
And how did the staff handle the changes at the hospital?
We really had to get the staff educated to be prepared so that they can safely take care of the patients. And that process to do for, Norwood's a good-sized hospital. It's 230, 240 beds. We've got, close to 2,000 staff members. So we really had our work cut out to train people very quickly to be able to take care of the community.
That's great that you have such an amazing staff at the hospital. During the pandemic, you also worked really closely with a number of different departments in the town. What was that like?
It was excellent. So I think the local Board of Health, working with Segal Reese and her colleagues was outstanding. So our COVID testing center was at peak 150, 160 patients. And we were able to call back patients with positive test results the minute they came back. And then we'd work with local Board of Health to do the contact tracings. So for us, it was a really homogeneous process to make sure that if you were in fact positive, the information got back to you very quickly. One, by us, and two, by the Board of Health for that contact tracing. And our process was so successful, we had people traveling from Arlington and Cambridge coming to our testing center because we were really good at what we were doing.
And just as things slowed down for the summer, the flood hit. Can you walk us through what that was like and how that affected the hospital?
Yes. So if COVID wasn't challenging enough, we had to deal with a flash flood in Norwood, which who would have thought a flash flood would happen 10 miles outside of Boston? And I can remember getting the call, and it was just, it was a lot, very, very concerning. You could hear the nervousness in the nursing supervisor's voice, and it was just, this doesn't feel right. We've definitely seen large storms before, but it's coming from all angles. The roof is shaking. The groundwater outside, we can see it. It's rising, and I think for the staff that day, it was nothing less than complete terror. I mean, what they experienced, no one should experience. And while that day was a very difficult day, what the staff accomplished was nothing less than a miracle. I mean, we were lucky. We had a very busy discharge day on Friday where we discharged almost 50 patients. Otherwise, we would have been well over 200 patients in the hospital. But we discharged 175 patients from this facility, coordinated with, I don't even know how many towns. I'm going to guess 15 ambulance services, towns, EMS, firefighters. And we had 0 incidents. We got 100. I mean, these people are non-mobile. These people were, very ill, and we were able to get everyone safely to another destination without incident, and I'm thankful that none of them got hurt.
We have covered a lot in such a short period of time. Is there anything else you'd like the residents of Norwood to know?
I want to thank everyone for the letters, the emails, the phone calls, the commitment to the Norwood Hospital. All our staff, whether it's nurses, doctors, lab techs, x-ray, rehab, food service, you name it, it doesn't matter. But the commitment from all of them, because in the beginning we didn't know how long this was going to take. We thought, well, it'll dry, and we'll be back. And people waited a long, long time thinking they were just going to come back to their home. And Norwood Hospital, to our employees, is their home, but also to the residents. So we want to thank all of them for their patience. All of the kind words of how you miss us and what Norwood Hospital meant to them, to us, is just, it's emotional, it's wonderful to hear. It's sad at the same time because we're not here, but we can't thank you enough for all those kind words, and we can't wait to get back to being able to take care of you.
Well, Dr. Perla, thank you so much for coming here today, and thank you so much from the entire board of the Friends of St. Nick for all that the hospital has done for us this year.
Thank you. It's all the staff that really should get that recognition. They are nothing less than remarkable.
Billy! Billy!
There's nothing in here but old St. Nick stuff. We got the banners, we got the scarves, we got Dave Thornton. That doesn't help. Alright, I guess I'll head uptown. How you doing, Dave?
Hey, Mouse, what's going on with you this year?
Nothing. You really didn't miss anything.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. How about you toss some of that mask, though?
All right, man.
Yeah, you might need it in there. All right, buddy, you good?
I'm good.
Okie dokie. We'll see you soon.
Okay. Are we gonna sing Sammy Small this year?
I left the key in there.
Where are these guys? The show was supposed to start a half an hour ago. Leave it up to Billy, Mouse, and Curran to be late to the Friends of St. Nick show. I gotta go get them. Teddy, how are you?
Mikey, how you doing?
Hey, have you seen anyone from the Friends of St. Nick?
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, now that we got you here, can you tell us a little bit about what the veteran services and how they've been affected by COVID?
I sure can, Mike, and thanks for asking. The primary issue that we've been encountering is the transmission of applications for benefits to the VA regional office. That regional office is at the JFK Federal Building, which has been closed, and nobody's in there. So we were hesitant to send mail in there because we could envision a nightmare scenario where the mailroom would just fill up with tubs full of unopened claims. I didn't want to do that. Then I heard of another rumor where they were forwarding mail to the Boston regional office to Janesville, Wisconsin, and I certainly didn't want to send any Norwood mail to Janesville, Wisconsin. I have no idea what's going on out there, and I'm not sure they do either. But so eventually my service officers convinced the VA to give them a username and a password. So now, the normal way of transmission for us is take the veteran's claim, scan it in, email it to myself. I in turn forward it to my service officer, who in turn scans it into the Massachusetts Veteran Services site and database. Then he forwards it to the VA regional office.
Okay.
So it's a secure and very efficient forms of transmission, and everything works.
Okay.
But now the problem lies again with personnel and scheduling examinations in person, stuff like that. Everything is slowed down. So I'm pleading with patience for everybody, but these are the cards that we've been dealt, unfortunately, and this is what we got to do.
And I know a lot of the veterans, when they want to see you, they come into the office.
They do.
That's been obviously hard
It
since
has.
town hall's been closed for a while.
Absolutely, Mikey. Thank you for asking that question too, because it's important for folks to know that the day after Labor Day, we opened for appointment only. So in order to cut down the length of stay, exposing the veteran to the building and the building to the veteran, we're only doing 2 appointments per day. We're limiting the time in the office to a half hour. We've got plexiglass shields in place, social distancing and stuff like that. We've got separate pens and chairs for the veterans to come in. So everything stays safe, and we sanitize the office after every veteran leaves.
Great.
So, but it's been busy, and because folks have been dying to come in, so we averaged about 35 veterans in September, about 40 veterans in November, you know, and so October, same thing. So we've been busy. But it's working.
Okay. So from everyone at the board of Friends of St. Nick and around town, I want to thank you for everything that you do. Thank your men and women who have been deployed and our veterans around town and around the country for everything they have done. And I hope everyone stays healthy and has a good holiday.
The same to you, Mike, and same to the board of directors, Friends of St. Nick. Great work as always, a Norwood tradition. It'll go on for 1,000,000 years, I hope. And I'd like to say a special thank you to our first responders, police, fire, those guys that run towards danger instead of running away from it, and all hospital personnel, particularly my friends at the VA, who have been doing great work.
Well, see, Jim. I thought I might find you guys here. Girlie hasn't shown up to the virtual event yet.
What event?
Yeah, okay. Well, what do you say we look for him? Do you have any idea where he might be?
Maybe upstairs?
Yeah, let's give it a shot. Check it out upstairs. All right, let's try that. Oh, all right. Billy! I can't see anything. Let me turn on the light. Jesus!
Gentlemen,
Seen Girlie?
have not seen him yet.
Hey, what are you doing?
Waiting for the night to start.
Yeah, okay. Thanks, Mick.
Well, good night, guys.
You want the lights on or off?
Shut it off.
All right, then.
Oh, hello there. Merry Christmas. And thank you so much for joining us. I'm here from my backyard at Kibby's Tavern by a wonderful fire. Apologies, I was just with it there. But I have the pleasure of giving out this year's Kibby Good Guy Award. Over the years, the Friends of St. Nick board has looked across the town for a person or group who best exemplifies the humor, good nature, and overall spirit to be there for others that my late father, Chris Kibby Curran, exemplified. Each year, we've been fortunate to look across a vast number of recipients for the award. I don't believe my father would have done too great this year, considering the Elks has been closed for a good portion of it, but he would have been forced to adapt much like the rest of us. We've selected a number of great recipients over the last 12 plus years. but 2 years ago, we selected perhaps the ultimate Kibby Good Guy. Our friend Mark Henry showed all the amazing qualities, from compassion to always being there for others and always willing to lend a helping hand when somebody else needed it. Unfortunately, Mark lost his courageous battle with cancer this year, so we are thinking of him and his entire family during this holiday season. This year, we are fortunate enough to select the Making Masks Group of Norwood as this year's Kibby Good Guy Award winner. The Making Masks Group of Norwood has stepped up throughout this difficult year during this pandemic to make masks for those in need throughout the town and across the extended region. We thank them for all that they've done this year, and we are honored to select them as this year's Kibby Good Guy. So over to them to discuss a little bit further how they've helped so many in this difficult year. Cheers and Merry Christmas.
I began seeing news articles about nurses and first responders not having enough personal protective equipment. And there were a few groups starting up here and there around the country that actually were making cotton masks for these people. And so I posted on a face group book that I belong to called Norwood Neighbors Helping Neighbors, that I thought some masks should be made should our own healthcare workers need them. Would anyone care to join me? I thought maybe I'd wind up with a dozen people and we'd sew some nice masks for the Norwood Hospital nursing staff. Things began to snowball, and more requests came in. Other hospitals and concerns heard that we were making masks, or we heard of other needs in other places, and it just kept getting bigger. We had nearly 800 volunteers and had sewn and distributed over 14,000 masks to healthcare workers, first responders, nursing homes and rehabilitation centers, senior center staff, HESCO, Meals on Wheels, food pantries, homes for developmentally delayed people, disabled people, school for the blind, a home for little wanderers, the works, anywhere that they needed masks. We've helped. We've delivered all the way down on the Cape. We've delivered quite a few in downtown Boston. And when healthcare workers and first responders began getting the supplies they needed, we could slow down a little on that, except we realized that we had yet to address the homeless. So we began sewing for homeless shelters and have provided quite a few masks there. Well, if you meet anybody in Norwood, if you're talking with a friend or introduced to someone, and it turns out that you find they're with making masks in Norwood, give them a big pat like that, or a pretend hug. They're lifesavers, and that's what they set out to be.
Billy! Guys! Hey!
Boys, aren't you going to your virtual show tonight?
I'm just gonna go grab gas, ice, maybe hit the Elks, and I'll meet you guys there in no time.
Billy, we're here! Oh! Woo! Woo!
Made it.
Woo! All right. All right, let's finish this. Let's finish this. Where's, hey.
Where's Karen? Oh, that's right. He said he was going to the Elks.
The Kern at the Elks. That's a shocker. All right, hey, what do you say we do this raffle
Let's
here?
do the raffle. Let's do the raffle.
What do we got?
All right, we got some great raffle prizes. So far, this is amazing, folks. So far, as of right now tonight, $18,000 has been donated already That's amazing, okay? So for different levels of your donations, you were eligible for these raffle prizes. So starting from the top, we're gonna do the $100 donation item, which is a foursome of golf at the Walpole Country Club, donated by the Walpole Country Club.
All right.
Jeffrey, what do you say?
All right. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Did you spin it?
Walpole Country Club, $100 winner. For the $100 level, rather. Hey, old friend Ronnie Lanzoni.
Hey.
Ronnie Lanzoni, former board member.
Does he golf?
We love him. Hey, he'll find the beer cart. It's fine.
Congratulations,
Thank you,
Ronnie.
Ronnie.
Thank you.
Hope everything is well, pal. Great to have you. And we'll move on.
Okay, our next item at the $100 level is a $100 gift card to Watson's Candy.
All right.
Donated by Watson's Candy.
All right. Watson's Candies is Patrick Eckhart.
Hey.
There you go, an Eckie in the house. There you go. I'm sure that won't be regifted for Christmas. So he'll enjoy that himself. Thank you, Patrick.
Thank you, Patrick. Good job. All right, at the $250 donation item line, we have a dinner for 8 at Lewis's Bar and Grill, donated by Dave Kelly down at Lewis's. And Jeff, I just want to say before you pull it, I mean, I find it amazing that these restaurants are stepping up. They're helping us out in the time that they're the ones that need help. You know, but they do it every year for us. It's Lewis's, it's OCC, it's Napa Tandy's, it's Conrad's. I mean, you know, every year they step up and help us out. But this year, you know, if we can certainly somehow give back to them, whether it's gift cards, whatever we can do in this time to help them out, I just find it heartwarming and truly amazing.
Yeah, no matter what, they've stepped up every year. All these folks that have donated raffles and really all the small businesses in Norwood that have been supportive of St. Nick's over the years, whether they come to the event or support through the raffle. And yeah, it's amazing. So, by the way, did you? Never mind.
All right.
So, all right, you ready?
Off with your lad and be lively.
Okie dokie. Winner, chicken dinner.
Dinner for 8 at Lewis's.
Dinner for 8, I should say.
You can get chicken.
That's true. And the winner is... who do we got? John Sullivan. Good old John Sullivan from Omega Financial.
Excellent, excellent.
Sully, you know
Congratulations,
Sully?
Sully.
John's a good man. He's been supportive over the years. Fine Norwood High grad and does a great job and very supportive of the towns through Omega Financial. And John, we'll see you at Lewis's. We're in on this.
Dinner for 10 at Conrad's. Norwood or Walpole, donated by Bobby Conrad. Bobby, thank you very much. Great sponsor of ours.
He is a great sponsor. Hopefully he doesn't win this, because I know he donates. Conrad's goes to Lucas Carr, our old friend.
Lucas, good job.
Lucas, there's no marathons to train for you and Maddie right now, so
just eat and drink.
You can do some carb loading maybe though. Get ready for
There
it.
you go.
Right?
Eat and drink. Thank you,
Thank
Lucas.
you, Lucas.
All right, still at the $250 level. Dinner for 10 at Napa Tandy's. Napa Tandy's, Norwood or Walpole again, donated by John Jacob. Again, John's a great sponsor of ours. Thank you, John.
Incredible sponsor. Want to make sure everyone's in here. John, we just decided to smoke cigars outside your place the other day, just, you know, out of habit. Hopefully no one was offended. It was outdoors. So, here we go. The winner of that one, Mary Gurley. I understand you might know her. So, yeah, hey, we spin them up, and that's it. There you go.
We'll show it to the camera. Make it official.
Yeah, we want. No, great, Mr. Gurley's
All on the up
obviously
and
a
up.
former winner, great contributor over the years. Always there. Been 29 years in running every year. So.
Perfect.
Here we go.
Okay, we're at the $500 donation item level. 2 tickets to the 2021 Patriots versus Buccaneers, donated by King McNamara Moriarty. Joe Moriarty, again, another great sponsor of ours. So you can go see Tom Brady up here in Foxborough. Next year, God willing, we're all there and the crowds are allowed.
All right, I'm on it. And the winner is... Oh, come on, baby. Come on, baby. Dave and Sheila Monahan, last year's winners.
there you
Dave and
go.
Sheila.
Excellent.
Go get them. All right, thank you guys. They're the best. They are the best. God bless the mug and everything they've done. Great winners last year.
Congrats,
Dave
and Sheila.
Enjoy the game. You know how to prepare a tailgate. That's all I'll say. So, all right, one more 500, Billy.
Okay, one more 500. This is really good. This is the best. Christmas dinner for 20 with 4 bottles of wine from the Old Colonial Cafe, Paul Angelo. Enjoy a great dinner for 20 at home with family and friends, prepared for you by the OCC.
All right, hey, winner for the OCC is Jack McCarthy.
Hey, Jackie, great job.
Jack, we got your chair here. Yeah, there you go. Jack has been a great
friend.
St. Nick friend.
Absolutely.
Former Kibby Good Guy Award winner.
Yeah.
And no one more deserving. All right, Jack.
Awesome, awesome.
There you go. All right. Well, that'll take care of that. Thank you, everyone that donated for the raffle and going on now. Remember, friendsofstnick.org, and our Venmo is at Friends of St. Nick. We'd love to have you contribute. As Billy said, we're at 18,000 right now.
18,000 and counting right now. And for those of you who want to write a check and mail it in, P.O. Box 814, Norwood, Mass. So as bad as 2020, the year has been for all of us, unfortunately, the Friends of St. Nick has lost a former board member, Bobby Donahue, passed away this year, and we just wanted to recognize and honor his service to our board. And on a personal note, I sat next to Bob at pretty much all of our combined meetings, and he was a good friend to everybody and always positive with a smile on his face. It was a pleasure serving with him, a pleasure knowing him. He was a good friend to many people, and he is deeply missed. Okay, that about wraps it up for our program tonight. We want to thank everybody that joined us and shared their stories. Hopefully we brought some entertainment, a couple laughs for you. Hopefully we shined some light on some positivity for this town of Norwood. The support for us has been overwhelming. The community itself just supports everything that is good, and hopefully we shined a light on it and we can raise some money. And we just want to thank everybody. Thank you to the community. Thank you all. God bless. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and certainly for everybody, a Happy New Year, huh?
Yeah, amen. You know, this has certainly been an unusual year, and that goes without saying. Every cliche you can think of right now, you know, unprecedented, every other thing that we could talk about. But what hasn't changed and what remains constant is the support that the community has for the causes that mean things to people like Dana-Farber and the Friends of St. Nick. Because we didn't know what we were getting into. We just said we want to make sure we continue this tradition that was selflessly began 29 years ago by a lot of folks. And so we tried to put something together, and hopefully we've done some good, because we know the town does so much good, and we just want to continue that tradition. So thank you all for everything you do. Again, you can go to our website, friendsofstnick.org, and at Friends of St. Nick is our Venmo. We're a 501c3, everything's tax deductible. But as Billy said, thank you, and enjoy the holiday season and on to 2021. Right, Billy?
Absolutely.
Wasn't it amazing how it stayed light out the whole time we were out there today?
Magic.
It's
magic.
magic, yeah.
There were no clouds.
Yeah.
Okay, so as tradition, let's ring it out. What we do at the end of the night, we sing Sammy Small. We have to do. We have to. Oh, my name is Sammy Small.
Cut.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'd just like to congratulate this year's honorees, all the townspeople who have made life a lot more bearable through this crazy pandemic. I'd also like to say thank you to all the generous donors. The donations keep rolling in, and it really is a testament and humbling to the generosity of the folks in the town. So I just want to wish you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Looking forward to 2021. Bye-bye now.
Thank you.
Thank you to everyone that donated and supported the Friends of St. Nick this year.
Thank you.
Want to thank everyone for their donations and hopefully see you next year when we're back with a full live event. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.